Friday, the Obama administration cleared the way for more natural gas exports by approving a $10 billion facility in Texas. The increase in hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling, also known as fracking, is expected to create a natural gas boom in business and make the U.S. one of the biggest natural gas producers in the world. But not everyone is celebrating the business prospects. There is a heated debate about the safety of fracking. Our guests today are Thomas Kurth via Skype in Dallas. He is an oil and gas trial attorney who supports fracking. And here with us in our New York studio is Frank Folsom, founder of NoFracking.com. And based on the name of your website, we know which side of the coin that you fall on here, Frank. Let me start with this. This seems like this could be an economic boom for our country, takes us off of our dependence on fossil fuels of oil and other countries to provide oil. Why is it that you're so opposed to fracking?
Well, to be clear, natural gas is a fossil fuel, first of all. Any energy development will create jobs, and I believe we need to look to renewables rather than unconventional fossil fuels, of which fracked natural gas is one.
Now, let me ask you to follow up on that just a little bit. Okay, so you want to look into other renewable energies. However, the technology is there right now in order to get this natural gas up out of the bedrock of the earth and to produce in the short term. Some of the renewable energy things are still very early in the R&D stage. It's going to be down the road in a whole lot of money. So, in a realistic standpoint, why not fracking now?
The cumulative risks of fracking have never been properly studied. So we can look at a particular incident that occurred in a region, but no one is talking about 20 years down the line when entire states have been fracked, what that's going to look like. And my strong belief is that that would be horrendous for the economies of those states.
Thomas, let me bring you into the conversation here. Frank does bring up an important point about safety. The truth is the fracking that is done now really has only been done for the last 10 years, although fracking itself, I understand, has been done for at least 60 years. Do we really know that it's safe, Thomas?
Well, safe as measured by is air pollution. The air pollution numbers indicate that the air pollution around fracking areas and air pollution generally has dropped a considerable amount in the past 10 years. So it is, I think from an air pollution standpoint, it is certainly proven itself. It is a fossil fuel, and there are inherent limits in terms of how much it can be choked back to limit NOx in the air, but I think it's proven itself, and the slide rule is still going down in terms of the volume of NOx in the air that's emitted from these sites. From the standpoint of risk to the public, there's not been a proven case where the drilling operations themselves have contributed a leak of methane into potable water supplies. Not one. And a recent decision by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection has confirmed that previous suspicions of contamination of water supplies proved to be unfounded.
Frank, I have a quick question for you. This is what I believe you wrote, and correct me if I'm wrong. You write, environmentalists exaggerate the dangers. Perhaps they really believe that, whether through ignorance or self-delusion, but there's also the possibility that they actually stand to gain even more if our water supply is contaminated. Do you believe any of that?
Well, I think that out of context that came out a little bit wrong. What I said is that some of the same players that they call these natural gas shale things plays, as though there's a gambling sense involved, are also buying up underground water rights in these same regions, specifically in the South and Southwest in the United States, where there have been drought conditions, and there are cities like Las Vegas that need lots of water. So there's a privatization of water movement that's happening under our noses in the United States. And at the same time, we have these companies coming and doing this type of resource extraction that does threaten our water supplies. They tell us that it doesn't, but on the other hand, just in case it does, they have all the fresh water that they want to sell to us. That's what I'm saying, that they have no incentive to be truthful about the safety of this because they stand to benefit if it's not safe.
Thomas, go ahead and respond to that if you could hear Frank's answer.
That is a remarkable piece of speculation, that there is some link between the operators, the drilling operators, and the producers of oil and gas are privately buying up water supplies so they don't have to be good stewards in the use of water. That's just nonsense.
I don't, all due respect, I don't see how it's wild speculation when I can name an individual, T Boone Pickens, who encapsulates all of that.
Well, no, he doesn't. No, he does not. He is not an active driller or operator in the oil patch. He does have substantial water supplies that he has spent money on, but the linkage between the two, that he's looking to sell his water to drilling operators in South Texas and elsewhere, simply, I represent the man. That's simply just not the truth. I mean,
well, as his lawyer, I wouldn't expect you to say anything differently then. Also, I want to address what you said about air pollution and smog emissions. A study came out about 2009 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the Barnett Shale, where there has been substantial high-volume hydraulic fracturing extraction, and that found that the emissions from the natural gas operations were greater than all transportation vehicular traffic emissions combined.
Let me jump in here. Thomas, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, I guess I don't know the study he's talking about, but I guess 3 years difference makes a difference. And the fact of the matter is that the study that's just recently come out, and I mean within the last month, indicates that methane gas emissions from drilling are significantly down, as are gas emissions generally across the country. I mean like 20, 30, 40%, as distinguished from what you would have if you use the counterpart fuel, coal, or any other sort of fuel. So natural gas has a pollutant quality to it, but its level of pollution as compared to its competitors is significantly less. And in fact, tests have shown that over the past 10 years, pollution is down significantly with the use of natural gas, as the use of natural gas has risen.
And Thomas, we're going to have to leave it right there. I appreciate your time. Thomas Kurth joining us from Dallas and Frank Folsom here. This debate is going to go on, as always, when there's a natural resource that has to do with our environment. But thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, here's a look at some of the stories that we have been following around the globe in the Arise News World Wrap.